The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us this morning. This is Ian Bell of Gateway 3D. Today I'll be explaining how we can automate ordering procedures for workwear programs that you are managing for clients. If you already manage clients' web stores for workwear or for uniforms, or if you're in a position where you're likely to secure a contract like this, what I'm going to cover I think should probably interest you. Any automation, obviously, that you can bring to any of your business processes has got to be a good thing to eliminate things like human error and improve the service that you're offering to the clients. Now, to actually secure an annual or possibly a biannual contract for workwear and potentially promotional clothing and other promotional items for a client, it's obviously taken a lot of resource in the first place to secure, but being able to prove how an automated service will improve the efficiency of the project as a whole has got to give extra reassurance to the client, and obviously it's going to be a good selling tool for you to be able to show to other prospective clients about the service that you can offer. Now, most client web stores are usually accessed via usernames and passwords and offer a range of pre-agreed garments with set designs. Now, authorized buyers would specify in the normal ordering procedure, they'd specify the quantity they required, the sizes, delivery address, and place the orders. But then the request is then processed internally for either internal sort of pick and pack operation, or if necessary, separate purchase orders are placed if you're using a trade clothing supplier for fulfillment, for example. It can even lead to multiple purchase orders if you're buying stock from one supplier and the decoration from another. So potential problems at this stage are the usual things like misinterpretation of sizes, colours, quantities, and obviously this is going to result in wasted time, replacement stock, unnecessary delivery costs, and all the other things that you have to stand, which is, bottom line is, it's going to affect, well, it is going to affect your bottom line profit. So the ideal scenario is to eliminate as much duplication as possible, as well as avoiding things like manual purchase orders. So the solution that we can offer gives a complete end-to-end service through our customizable products platform. Products are set up without the need for doing any manufacturing in the first place and are produced on a print-on-demand basis. This completely eliminates any stock holding, so it cuts out warehousing costs as well as any additional pick and pack charges. Orders are placed directly from the information submitted by the buyer direct to the fulfillment facility. So whether it's internal or external, just change the screen there, but it's on a product-by-product basis. So at the start of a contract, you will agree with the client specific manufacturing and decoration techniques for the different quantities of products that best suit your manufacturing capabilities. Initially, when you look at when you start looking at the costs, it may appear that unit price might be slightly more expensive, but once you've factored into the equation and you've explained to the clients that there's never going to be any unused stock, there'll be no warehousing to hold the pre-branded stock that you might have produced previously, so you don't have to fund that side of the operation. There's no additional costs for labour-intensive pick and pack operations. So the cost to the clients is still more than acceptable, and the potential profit to you can increase. Now, reducing the number of business processes to fulfill your commitment to the client increases efficiency of the project as a whole. Now, if I just show you not a very obvious example on the clothing side, but Vistaprint. 2012, Vistaprint's worldwide turnover was just over $1 billion. And that was after it was only set up in 1995, but from the start it was based on exactly this business model of a print-on-demand service. So the principle is not exactly new, but it obviously works, but it's how to implement the print-on-demand business model into the clothing market. Now, if we just click into the Gateway 3D admin panel, the admin panel is basically where all the products are managed. Our Personalize It system which is what this is based on, can be installed into any existing e-commerce website structure. So by your developers, or we can obviously provide a Magento website to your design with the software set up, ready to go. To prepare the products for a particular website, it couldn't really be easier to just using the admin panel. So all of the products are set up in here. So if I just go to a product that I'd set up earlier, let's have a look. I'll just put in the 2419. So this particular product is just a standard t-shirt, so I thought I'd keep it simple. Obviously the range of clothing that you could be providing might be jackets, high-vis waistcoats, you know, skirts, blouses, trousers, whatever it might be. As a 2D template, the products itself could be set up within here. So this product has started off from a photograph of a product, which has got a front and a back view. So these are just uploaded photographs with a mask to cover the decoration area. So anywhere on the product it is saying can be decorated, we can then specify other branding areas within that mask area. Now you can set up from one base product, you can set up color areas on the product so that they are specific to the branding for the client. So this particular product I've set up with these hex references to display different colors. So if the color scheme for the client was green and red, you could just specify a green and a red that was a good match to the brand that you're actually going to use. So if you're using a Fruit of the Loom or a Gildan or whatever else the type of product might be, you can match a hex reference up to the colour. So it's a good match on screen to the colour that the product comes in. As well as the colour areas, you can set up the print areas on the product or the decoration areas. Now, anything that, even if it's going to be pre-branded with the company logo, or you're going to allow additional branding for the buyer to be able to do themselves, you can set up the areas in here. So this will show on this part of it, we have a thing called a texture preview. So as we load that, it will show that on the front of this particular t-shirt, we're allowing that area to be printable. Anything that's put outside of that area will not display on the product on the website, and will show the buyer that it's not going to work, so they need to resize their artwork, or the actual design itself of the company logo. If it was going to be a large chest print in the front here, for example, then that would need to fit within this area, and that's set by the constraints of the manufacturing processes that you know. In addition to print areas, obviously that is the total area, decoration area, but you can also set text areas in the same way, so that any text can be set up within the print area. And also you can set specific fonts. So if there is a particular corporate font that is used, then you can specify which fonts can be used to create additional text, for example. So here, this particular product has been selected with all of the fonts in the system, but you could just specify it with one font if that was the particular font for the client. If the colorway, so we have also a default color here as well. So if you wanted to set a default color on a product, you could set that so that was the only color that could be used on any fonts that were uploaded onto the product. So you can see it's given a very tight constraint on what the buyer can actually buy when the product is in the site. So if I just look at the product itself, if I go to the basic details of the product, in the link section, I'll just open this link here. This URL is unique to the product in the way that you've configured it. So if it's got an image pre-set up, then that will be set up and that will be reflected in this URL. This URL in your client's website will be embedded within an iframe on the product page. So I'll come on to the layouts of websites in a moment. So if I just open this URL, this will open full screen, but obviously this would resize to fit into the iframe that you set up onto the product. So the colors for the product that I'd selected earlier can be changed here. So this is, at this point, I am the buyer looking at the t-shirt. So I can change the colour of the product. So if you just set a red and a green, there would only be a red and a green in this colour section here. If you want to add text, then you can simply type the text in here, whatever it might be, and then you can specify colours that are available. So let's get rid of that. If you want to add an image, you can, this will be an additional image, so there could already be branding already set up on this garment, so it will have the corporate logo on. If you needed to add additional images, you can add them here. And once the product is set up the way that the buyer wants to buy it, they can specify the quantity and click Add to Cart. So all of this full screen preview that I've got here would actually fit within the iframe that you set onto the product page. Now, if I just click through to an example here, this is a range of clothing items which have been set up for a particular company. So you can see that the branding is all the same. The image is a bit smaller, but you can see that the branding is all the same. So I'm now the buyer, and I need to select, for example, keep it simple, just on a t-shirt. So this will click onto the product page. This particular product has been set up using our 3D technology. We also have 3D or 2D visualizations which can be used whatever is appropriate, and now you set the products up. So from this point we can see on the front of the garment we have the logo pre-set up with personal training on it. If you want to add an image, images have been preset so that there is additional text, like this particular one says team leader. So the buyer can specify that they want the team leader text on the back of the shirt and simply click Add to Cart. At that point, the payment is either taken, which can be done because the API, when it's installed in the size, will communicate with your payment provider. So it can be set up so that they pay for the order as they place it, or the website can be set up so it will go onto an account and you would invoice the clients at the 30 days on normal terms. So now from this point, this is where the system kind of comes into its own, really, because from that point, obviously, you would expect the order to go through, then you would need to process the order. But each product can be specified by the fulfillment house this is going to fulfill the order. So if you're doing it all internally, orders will be received initially through this print manager interface. So if I click on the print manager, this is a live system, and these are orders that are going through our software all over the world. So we've got some Great Britain, USA, Canada orders just on this first page, and there are obviously pages and pages going through. This isn't just related to clothing, this is related to all types of personalised products, whether it might be one phone case on a phone case, personalised phone case site, or whether it is a range of corporate clothing that somebody may be ordering. So any of these orders, I'll not go into individual orders because it's a live system, but from this order placed in Great Britain, for that they'll actually receive a delivery note and three formats of the artwork. So even if you've got a pre-branded design on the clothing item, you'll still get a full piece of artwork that relates to the whole artwork job. So if you have for example, if you're doing something for Shell Oil and you had the Shell logo preset on the front of a polo shirt, that and the user or the buyer had added additional text in to give the name of a particular representative of the company, then the artwork would come through at the right size, ready for production. In it, you also have an assets folder which includes the original artwork which is uploaded, so that's always supplied with the order, and also any font material relating to the fonts which have been uploaded. So, and it also has the delivery note set up and all of the order details. So basically, a client of yours can place an order on their web store, and that will then trigger an order with all the necessary artwork directly through to the fulfillment house. So if you have printed items in a web store and you have embroidered items in a web store and you subcontract all of the manufacturing, the printer will receive one set of orders and the embroidery company will receive another set of orders, all set up with your paperwork ready to dispatch through to the client. So obviously you make the necessary arrangements at the start of a project, but this will completely eliminate the need for internal raising of purchase orders to suppliers. You would have no stock holding, so that you don't have any of the additional warehousing costs. You never have any unused stock. So it's just about the most efficient way of managing a corporate clothing scheme or a workwear scheme. But once you have the API, our software, installed in a website structure, if we were to set a site up for you, we would set up a Magento installation with the software installed. From the basic installation and the first store, it is then relatively easy to set up another store for client number 2 with a different range of products, and it's all managed through one back end, through one admin panel for the Magento website. It'll still work in just about any other e-commerce website structure, but we tend to specialize in the Magento platform. So what I would suggest is, if you are considering, or if you are currently working with a client and you would like to investigate how you could implement this system, then by all means get in touch. If you are in a position where you're considering entering into a contract with a supplier, with a customer rather, yeah, also get in touch. We could explain how the software could get installed. We would give you full training on how the system works, and this would lead to a full end-to-end e-commerce facility for you to offer to your clients to fulfill all of their workwear requirements that they need. So hopefully I've gone through enough information to give you a tempter to give me a ring, because obviously we'd like to talk to you to try to discuss options and how we could help you and how you could best implement this cutting-edge state-of-the-art software. So if anybody has any questions, I'd be more than happy to take them. Or if not, I'll be putting a post onto the blog, onto the Gateway 3D website, which is just gateway3d.com/blog, where there'll be a link to this webinar if you'd like to watch it again and go through any of the details. But if there aren't any questions, I shall leave you for today. I'd just like to say that over the next coming weeks, we should have some exciting news about integration with another software platform which will affect how you can automate processes for the direct-to-garment market, but that will be something that will be announced in the next week or so. So yeah, so keep an eye on your email for any forthcoming webinars. Okay, thank you very much for attending this morning, and hopefully we'll speak to you soon.